Good morning to everyone. So, I am Academic Counselor H. Biswas. So, today I have to take MMPC 01, the review class. So, today's review, block number 1 and block number 2, I try to cover up is the advanced strategic management. Actually, in the previous my 4 sessions, I have covered all the blocks. But today I have to take some of the review so that it can be repeat some of the important parts can be seen. Now let's see the review part. So again I can briefing you. So in the block number 1 there are some 2 units, that is your corporate management, as I said, and then your corporate policies, and then and the block number 2, that is your corporate level strategy. The unit number 3, 4 and 5 is there. So they are actually to discuss about the intensive growth of the strategies, then your integration and the diversification growth strategies, and your finally the strategic analysis. All the units are already details we have discussed in the previous sessions. Here actually try to highlight some of the important points, and before that try to understand the corporate policy. What is the corporate policy as such? And in the subsequent review classes I will discuss about the block number 3 and 4. So now start for the corporate management, because it is a content of the corporate management is the contents of your corporate planning, implementation and corporate planning, and evaluation and the control plan. So 3 aspects you have to keep in mind. One is your planning part, then after that you have to see the implementations, and finally the evaluations, and how to control the project plan for the future purposes. So that is the rotation, or you can say this is within the corporate management. So all these things are there. So now corporate management is passed through the basically the various levels. There are some of the levels are there, as we said. This is one over your authoricisms, then your planned policies and environmental strategic interfaces, and then your corporate planning and your corporate management. So all are your part of your different levels of the corporate management. Then previously we have discussed about the scope of the things. Here actually I am trying to highlight which are the things are really important. We have to focus on this. First things you have to see what is the corporate management, what is the contents of this corporate management. Then we have seen what is the level of the corporate management. Then now we are discussing about the scope of the corporate management. The scope is still the role of the top management, where the role of top management, what type of role, that should be clearly described. Then your code of conduct, what type of code of conduct should be there. Then your competitive scenario for domestic and the global, competitive scenario and the dynamic and the global markets. So all these things are the scope of your corporate management. Now your marketing structure is also part of your scope, because here the structure, marketing structure means where the reporting systems, or rather I can say the levels, managing director, sales marketing, vice principal, your managing director of the marketing sales, marketing part, then manager, then journal manager, or whatever the way. So this is the way the structure should be case to case basis, because it is depending on the organization to organizations, what type of product, if it is a product oriented or sale oriented. So structure will be like this way. And every structure, what are the labels are there, that label by positioning, we can say the positions are role of these particular that positionings are to be defined. Then your corporate finally the strategic enablers like your IT, R&Ds and knowledge management and your innovations, etc. So like this way should be there. Then your corporate social responsibility is another aspect. It should be include the ethics and the values of the social audits, because the company ethics are different things, and moral part of the ethics itself, but there is different. So that is the main things. Now professionalisms, basically the professionalism is very important in the case of your things. So now after that see your philanthropy as a strategic choice, how best you can take care of your employees, their health, their well-beings. So all this part of there, so that they should make a become a good asset for the company, and productivity can be increased. Now corporate planning, another part, the corporate planning, within the corporate planning, then again the formulation of the objectives. First you have to formulate the objectives, and the guidance, what are the guidance of the affairs, and that is the things are there. Then your towards the attainments, how to attain these things. And then as per the Ducat's definitions, the corporate planning is a continuous process, making the entrepreneurs and the decisions systematically. So, and with the best possible knowledge of their fraternity and the organizational systematically. To carry out these decisions and the expectations through organized and the systematic feedbacks. Then according to Hasse, I mean here actually the different definitions are there. So all the definitions are important, but and different aspects are there, techniques they have seen discuss. So planning the corporate long range, basically the corporate planning is always based on the long range planning, and that is to be considered. Is not a short term, basically the long term business. Then formulation of the strategic intentions and environmental appraisals, generation of the strategic alternatives, then evaluation of the alternatives, decisions in terms of the strategic policies and programs. Now coming to your implementation part, where the implementation of the corporate strategy, there are the project implementations, then your procedural implementations, the resource allocations are also important, because what are the inventory control you have to maintain, the structural implementations, behavioral implementations and functional implementations. There are different wings, you can say the implementation wings. Behavioral implementation, there are some basically that deals with the some of the following things, where the leaderships are coming in pictures. Corporate culture is also another aspect. Corporate policies, and there are other power. Then personal values and the business ethics. Then your social responsibility. Everything are part of your behavioral implementations. Now, review and the evaluations of the corporate planning. The review is another aspect, because what are the strategic levels and your operational levels. Every levels you should have some review is required. Then strategic control is also related to your external environments. Then operational control is also the strategic control, also your longest long horizons, and the control is exercised exclusively by the top management in the strategic controls. Then budget schedules and the MBO business by the objectives MBO are also used by the operational control. Now, approaches to corporate your corporate management. The various approaches are there. There are top down approach and your bottom down approach, hybrid approach, team approach, board of directors, chief executive officers, entrepreneurs, then your SBU level executives, the sub business units basically SBU, and the consultants. These all are the various approaches to the way the corporate management stands. Now, what is the need for this corporate management? Or rather I can say, what would be the benefits for these things? Because some of the factors are laying there, are laid down. There is a scarcity of the resources. When your resources is very less, so you definitely have to take some strategy. So you have to plan some of your corporate management part. Then another issue may be the first technological change. This is another factor. Because of that, you have to have a good corporate management systems. Changing human behavioral values, multiplicity of the stockholders, growing competitions, liberations, privatizations, and the globalizations it is there. Then growing scale of business operations, faster and quicker modes of transportations, and the communication professionalisms in the management, logistic and other your supply chain and all these things are also a part of these things. Now, the concept and the meaning of the corporate policies. Now, we are coming to the policies. Policies can be your categorized into a following three broad areas. This is one of the first group is this opinion, the policy, and the strategy of the your synchronous corporations or corporate policy. Synchronous means that should be aligned things, and it is defined by the William Gluck. He says the management policy is long range planning for all practical purposes. Management policy, the long range planning and your strategic management plan mean the same thing basically. Now, the second group of experts views, they say the corporate policy is the process of implementing your strategy, and the term the policy refers to the organization procedures, practices, and executing your strategy. Robert is saying yes, define the corporate policy, basically a policy, establish the guidelines and the limits for your indiscriminatory action of the individuals and responsible for implementing the overall plan. So, these all are your part of your corporate policy. The third view is there. That is also corporate policies and decisions regarding the future of the organizations. Who says that is in the view of the Robert, Maklar. He says, he defines the things. According to him, the policy manual of the General Electric company, the policy is defined of the common purpose for organization components of the company for benefit of those responsible for implementations, exercise the discriminations and the good judgment in appraisings and deciding among alternative courses of the actions. So, policy, it will help different way, and it is some sort of your benchmark or some of the measuring point. You have to follow these things and you have to do these things which are guiding pillars, you can see it. Now, some of the features are there. That is your general statement of the principles, then your long term perspectives, then your achievement of the objectives, what are the objectives that has to be fulfilled or not, then your qualitative, conditional and general statements, then guide for the respective operations, hierarchy, what are the hierarchy level, hierarchy things, then your decision making process, mutual applications, unified structures, positive declarations. These all are your part of the features of the corporate policies. The organization's corporate policy is categorized in the internal and the external. There are two parties there. So, internal department, within the department, so they include the corporate missions, because what are the determinants? It will include the corporate missions, corporate objectives, then your corporate sources and the management values. Now, some crucial factors that play a significant role in the formation of the corporate policies. This is your number one is your corporate policy, then your corporate objectives, the resources and some values, management values. So, all are the factors that play is significantly this role are playing. External determinants. Now, so far we have discussed about the internal. Now, we have to discuss about the external determinants. The external determinants of the your corporate policy are the industry structures, economic environment, and your political parts also there. Sorry. Now, the scope of the corporate policy. The corporate policy, this consists of a variety of subject that affects the various interest. Interest groups, then your corporate policy is concerned with the various functional areas, like the productions, then your human resource, marketing, finance. So, and all over the objectives, the procedures and the control are covered by the major policies. Now, communication. Now, this is one of the very important part. The corporate communication process. This is what are the policies that once it is formulated, now it has to be formulated and communicated. The corporate policy first thing is formulated by the top management. So, top management involvement is required. That is the role of the top management. they have to take some priority on these things, and engagement, their involvement is very much important. So once it is formulated, it basically some comparisons of steps are there, some procedure is also there. The steps involves, what are the steps are there, that we have to discuss. Number one, first thing is the environmental analysis. So we have to analyze the environmental analysis, where the internal, external, both the part are coming off in the analysis part. Then identification of the policy alternatives, because maybe there are 30-40 policy are there, already existing policies are there, and maybe some new idea, some creative policies are generated or maybe collected, gathered, or everything's new ideas depending on the present global positions, market positions obviously. Then finally you have to see the alternatives, which are the best alternatives fit for this business. So that is the one of the part, identifications part of the alternatives. Third is your evaluation of the alternatives. Now after that the alternatives, when it is decided, identified, then you have to evaluate the things, basically the validations, and if any major changes is required or not, and then finally the choice of the policy. So this is some of the formulation process. Here some of the diagrams there, policy formulation process, which I have already discussed. Same thing are given is a flow chart like this way. So there are three main type of policies. Which are the things? One is your, as per the basic policies, general policies, and your departmental policies. So as per the Fred and your battery they have classified some of the policies, the top management policies, then upper middle management, and then your middle management, then your foreman, operators, productions, resource, financials, costing, accounting, marketing, promotions, productions, product policy. So every level, every departmental wise, everywhere there are some policies there, and all the policies obviously some changes is there based on the requirement. So policies should be not only one policies. It is a combination of policies which are covered, complete company's activities, maybe in the finance side or in the account side, marketing side, all the sides are to be there. Some classification is there. Again, he has classified some of the policies, and then some of the scope are there. Some basic policies, general and departmental policies, as I said. Then some they express some of the oral, some of the written policies should be there. The level of, as I said, the top level, middle level and lower level, and categorize the different level of management policy should be there. There's some structural overview. Then your natural and the origins type, as you said, your some of the organizative, your originated policies, then your apparel policies, imposed policies, derivatives. There are so many there. In the functional area where the production, marketing, financial, and your personals like this. Here actually some of the through these diagrams categorize, it is very easily can be expressed, or you can. So now the importance of the corporate policy. This is important because for very effective or effective managements, basically purpose for effective managements, and solving the day-to-day the problems can be made. So a comprehensive evaluations of all your organizational activities and the operations is necessary. Your policies are needed to carry out the business, and then your activities in a smooth manner. Then they provide the clear-cut courses for attainment of the business objectives. Then now coming to corporate strategies are coming. That is your part of your block 2. That is your intensive your growth strategy. So these are the concerned with the broad long terms, because in this case it is a very long term questions. What business are we in? Suppose what type of business we are in, and what do we want to do with this business? Very important things. So if you question yourselves, you can get the answers, because so then accordingly you can plan the things. So corporate strategy is basically to how to run the business and how nicely you can operate the things. So competitive strategy, one of the things are there. So these decisions are determine how the firm will compete in a specific business or the industries. Functional strategies are those functions, those decisions that determine how the firm will compete in a specific business or the industries. Now, there are 4 types of generic your corporate strategies are there. One of your stability strategies, where the things are smooth, stable, need not to change anything, make no changes to the company's current activities, and satisfied. Now growth strategies are expand. You have to go for expansions, expand the company's activities. Then retrenchment, your retrenchment strategies, reduce the company's level of activities. In this case, it may be you have to reduce the some of your human resources. This is one of the strategy, and this is the last options basically. Then your combination of the strategies, because you have to combine of the both strategies, means you have the combination of your growth strategies as well as your retrenchment of this. You have to retain some things and you have to go for another expansion business, or maybe you have to reshuffle or maybe deploy some of the employees or your manpower from to the other project. This is the way. Expansion strategies basically to maintain their competitive positions in rapidly growing the market, because competition is there, and to accelerate the rate of growth of the sale, profit and the market share, resources, developing new technologies and creating the new your managerial capabilities. So advantages, the organizations is gain a greater control over the immediate environments. So because of these sizes, the influence is the crucials for the survival of the in mature markets, where the competitors aggressively defend their market shares. So when you are in that situations, so you have to anticipate the market, you have to anticipate the future of your growth. So all these things you have to consider it and go for the your things. So all are the advantages are there. and then intensify the involve of the expansions, then your significantly the present position of the expenditures, integration strategies involving your expanding externally by the combining with the other firms. You have to integrate some with your product with the other companies, and again you have to run the business. So, combination of the involved associations and the integrations among the different firms, and is essentially driven by a need for the survival and also for growth by building synergies, because the idea is to create a or build a new formations where the synergies are there. So, combination of the firms may make a merger or consolidations route. So, this is a concept has coming slowly, the merging the things is also. So, it is also coming under the your expansion process. So, firms are integration to basically purpose of this to increase the market share. Why they have go for these integrations? To increase the market share, avoid the cost of the developing new products. You can avoid the temporarily to your investment in the new products, then reduce the risks of your entering in the new market. So, need not to go for the market itself. Then before any diversifications, so you can integrate it, and finally during the integrations you can think over for the diversifications in futures. So, quite possible for reducing the intensity of the competitions, and this is the way you can absorb some of the market positions, and you can have a as a good competitors in the market. International expansion as also involves a things there, because the foreign market you have to enter in the foreign market, additional sale purposes. So, that is another opportunities for a firm that may be your constraints by the relatively small size of your domestic market, and also reduces the your firm's dependencies, because so you can drastically reduce your dependencies also, so that you can on a single market, single national market. And now logistic capabilities are also very much crucial for the successful global operations, as they involve the coordinated international flow of goods, informations, cash and work process. Now, then see the your diversifications coming out. The diversification involves your expanding the new lines of the business. You have to diversify the things, means your core business is always there in the market is there. Now, apart from that, you are searching some of the new pattern of your business and take another increase your market values also, but your not compromising your core business. Core business is always there. So, when the company has reached a limit of the growth, because when the diversification will, the thought process will start, because when you are reaching the growth positions, your introduction side, initial stages, then your growing stages, maturity, and then when you are in the growth stage, after that chances are declining. Further growth may not be possible sometimes. So this is the time to expand your business or diversification of the business are very much needed. So there are two types of diversifications: concentric and conglomerates. Now, there are some alternate routes are also there for the diversifications. Alternate routes means different pathway you can diversify. Merger and acquisitions, this is one of the your diversification strategies. Then your strategic partnering, joint ventures, they are the long-term contracts, strategic alliances. The potential pitfalls, what are the problems are there, specifically pitfalls? The firm likely the encounter during the diversification. What type of problem normally they are facing? Integration difficulties. When both the companies are merged, production wise or otherwise, their objectives and their the goal, pattern of the goals, objectives, what are the manpowers are theirs, raw materials, what are the everything. So that time merging or acquisition times, integration is very much difficult because you have to align everything. This is one of the issues are there, because some of the manpower are to be posted in their companies, and their manpower can come to the suppose for A or B, there are two companies are merged. One is A, one is merger, one is your acquisitions. So both the companies are integrated now. So there are reasonable of manpower will be likely to be. So that integration is there because the culture will be maybe sometimes affected, the policies may be different. So everything are to be generalized and unified policies are also required. Maybe some modifications may be needed. Faulty assumptions, that is also one of the problems. Failure to carry out the effective due diligence. In your inordinate increase in depth, too much diversifications, then your problems in the marketing and your merger and acquisition work. These all are the basic problems during the your diversifications. Some of the steps are there, because how to go ahead for your merger and acquisitions. So some of the steps are there. Number one, first initially, the initial offer by the intending buyer, suppose those who are intending buyer, he has to give us some offer. Then second position is response from the target company. So they have to accept the terms and conditions, attempt to negotiate, execute the poison pill, or you can say the some other your hostile takeover. Then you find a white knight, and finally you can solve it, and then closing the deal. So this is some of the your steps are there, how to step up for your merger and acquisitions. Now alliances. The world largest producer of the wine company is Gallo. They have already in the Nike, as you know, they are totally different product. They are not in the same things, but they have alliances. World, both the things. Gallo is one of the world largest producer of the wine, and does not grow the single grapes. But you see, they have not growing the grapes, but they are a very wine companies. Similarly, in the Nike, they were largest product of your athletic footwear, but does not manufacturing a single shoe. Boeing, the giant your aircraft manufacturer, he makes little more than cockpits and your wing bits. So, from software to steel, aerospace to appraisal, and the space to strategic alliances worldwide is accelerating, because most of the companies, they are to make their strength, to make their position in the global positions, they are alliancing the things. So, in which two organizations co-joined to pursue the common interest, the rapidly growing the phenomena in the your contemporary business environment. So, alliances represents your strategic responses to the powerful forces of the deregulation, globalizations, technological changes, and time to top market concerns. Now, see the factors promoting the rise of the strategic alliances. What are the basic reasons behind it, so that people are going for the strategic alliances? That we have to see. So, partnering is frequently quicker and the less costly, while avoiding the difficult and the time consuming internal changes. Partnering allows the company, when you are in a partnerships or something, is rapidly move decisively your or size of the opportunities before this disappear. Respond more quickly to change with a greater flexibility, increase the market share, gain access to a new market, or you can beat others to that market also. Quickly you shore up the internal weakness, and you gain a new skill or area of competitions or competence. Basically, the company improve the competencies, succeed along all through the company, lacks of resources. These all are some of the factors are there. Now, type of the strategic alliances. There are several type of strategic alliances that companies can enter into, the ranging from simple your short term management arrangement to more complex and partnerships, where the companies combine their resources and the assets. The simplest form of the strategic alliances is a contractual agreement, which is appropriate when a formal your management structure is not required. So, there are three broad type of strategic analysis, I can tell you broadly. That is your one of the things. Your there are three things. One is the licensing arrangement, as we know, then joint ventures and cross holding, equity stock and your consolidated. Now, benefits of the strategic alliances. Your strategic alliances have they become a key tool for the business in the new economy to gain a competitive edges by assessing the partners' resources such as market, technology, capital and the people. Then see the first growth technology companies, often your from the strategic alliances to benefit from the established channels of the distributions, marketing or the brand reputations of the larger and the better known players. So, it is needed to alliances to reach the market. Now, see the cost and risks of the your management learning and the essential tool of the overcoming the cultural barriers in the strategic alliances. That is also one of the important part. For that, number one, that is your lack of trust, then your loss of autonomy, lack of clear goals and the objectives, because if you have not clear objectives, then it will be a problem. Lack of coordination between the management teams, your differences in the management styles, lack of commitment, then you are creating a potential competitors, problem of the coordinations and the loss of agility, potential for the conflicts, your difficulty in management alliances and other issues of theirs. Now, factors contributing to successful strategic alliances. What are the things are required for successful things? Senior management commitment is required. Similarity of the management philosophies, frequent performance feedback, clearly define and share the goals of the objectives, difference in the management styles, thorough planning, clearly understood roles, global visions, partner selections and your communication between the partners and maintaining the relationships. So, all are mandatory. Rather, I can say is all these things are mandatory for the success of a strategic alliances. Some of the checklists are there for identify the key issues of for considering the contemplating the your entering into the strategic alliances. So, some checklists should be there. You have to go ahead go through these checklists, ensure that all the points are covered. First things, you are choosing the partner carefully. You have to choose your partner very carefully. That is number one. You have to put a tick mark. Second point, clarity of the purpose. The purpose is okay. What your purpose and this purpose are aligned or can be modified little bit. So, that things also you have to check as a tick mark. Select a project, understand, formulate it, balancing the contribution of the partners, complete trust, partnerships of the top, freedom to innovate, have an exit, a strategy. These all are checklists are really required for that. So now this is the way of I just cover up all the 5 units pertaining to your block 1 and block 2. First 2 units are in the block 1, and then 3 units, balance 3 units are in the block 2. So all the 5 units cover up. Basically you see that there are corporate management part, and then after that there are different level of corporate policies, and there what the way you can business are run, maybe a normal way in the positioning the considering the market. You have to go for the expansions, maybe the diversifications, and how what are some of the ways merger and all these things are given. So this type of these all are the things are covered up in your today's review classes. Now I have to say some of the other things. Apart from that, now I have to maybe 1 or 2 questions I can say you. Question means in the sense the pattern of the question patterns of the and where the questions are likely to be coming from these things. For example, question may come as a corporate planning, concept of the corporate planning. So then, and his characteristics you have to define it, and then question may come steps of the merger and acquisition deals, which I have just now discussed. So what are the steps are there for merger and acquisition purposes? Different your different strategic alliances. So you have to that these 3 type of questions you can also like this and prepared. Then I think these 3 questions are sufficient. Apart from that, you can also some of the questions are important is your identify and explain the features of the corporate policies. So what are the corporate policies? There, what type of features are there? That also we have I have covered up. Determinants. So describe the determinants of the corporate policy. Right now I am saying the important question of block 1 and block 2, where the expected questions are learner has to prepare for that for the exam. So determinants of the corporate policies which are influencing the organizations. So this is this type of questions are things there. Then a question may come various corporate strategies, explain the nature and the scope of the various corporate policies. This is also a part of unit number 3. Earlier one, unit number 2, that questions there part of your corporate policies, and these your scope of the corporate strategies, that is a part of your unit number 3, where we have seen there are some stability strategies and your retrenchment strategies. There's a lot of things there. Then question may come, what do you understand by the diversifications? So you have to explain the diversifications, discuss the advantage and disadvantage of the diversifications. They are all these are coming, will be coming, your merger, alliances, acquisitions, so all these things you have to, integrations, so you have to point it out all the points. When you have to write the question in such a way, first things you have to give some definitions, then you expand the things with a subhead, and finally you have to give some of the your examples. So then better we can explain the things. So I hope there are 4 or 5 questions I have already discussed regarding this review class, and things I think that is enough for today, and hope for the best for the next sessions for the review 2 class. So those who have missed my earlier sessions, if they go through these sessions, then definitely you will be covered up the block 1 and block 2 as a summarize. This is basically I have just summarized the things today's sessions like this way. So okay, thank you very much. Thank you.